Hello and welcome. Today I want to share something very practical. These drawing exercises will be particularly useful for any artist interested in pattern design. The first one is control lines. And this first exercise, the goal is very simple, is to draw straight or curved lines with intention. If you ever wanted to draw straight lines or any line at all, and then you just struggle to do that, this is the exercise for you. And this is particularly helpful for the line confidence, the hand coordination. There is a little bit of logic why you repeat the line over and over in the same place. One is because you save paper, and two, you build that line, that control confidence, and then you start diversifying your line as well. You can practice different lengths. You can slow down how fast you trace over the same line, or you can speed up. To make a little bit more difficult, you can really increase the length of the line, and then it will become a little bit harder. The next exercise is point coordination. You draw a little point in the paper and then you try to draw straight lines aiming to cross that initial point. This really start training your hand and eye coordination. This is your accuracy control, your visual coordination, and your line confidence is also being practiced. It also becomes a stepping stone for other exercises like symmetry and racial pattern structures. Is a very good exercise. To make it a little bit harder, you can make the lines longer. The longer that they are, the harder it is to hit that central point. I am keeping simple for this demonstration, but you can do whatever feels right. And you can do this exercise as often as you want. This exercise is also very good to start teaching you how to measure proportions as well. And intuitively, you start drawing in proportion more often and better. The next exercise is the shape matching exercise. That's where you draw a simple shape. It can be truly anything that you want. And once you draw the initial shape, the goal is to draw it again. Use the same proportions and unique shapes that you're creating. This exercise is very good for your observations and also trains your proportion. You can be as loose, or if you want a high accuracy, you can start measuring and using construction lines to help you if accuracy is extremely important to you. I am basically training more my intuitive drawing, but if you need that accuracy, you definitely will need to slow down, measure, and use construction lines, and you'll get you there. This is how you correct your observation errors and any gaps that you have on your ability to draw what you see. This is the exercise for you. You can also use negative space to start blocking out the shapes, and that can be another training wheels here if you don't want to freeform draw from what you see directly on the page. It's a great exercise I use over and over. It definitely helped me to draw better. The next one, a very important one, and I love doing this one here, is the mirror symmetry. And it's a very simple concept. You draw a vertical line on the page, you create any shape on one side, then you mirror that shape on the other side. It is kind of that reflection, that mirror reflection on the other side. You can start simple and gradually increase the complexity of your shapes. For those that like to draw butterflies or birds or anything that has that second side of the object, this is a great exercise. This exercise trains your symmetry awareness, which appears frequently in pattern design. And you can start matching these shapes as a reflection, and you can start then later on making intuitive interpretations of those shapes. If you need accuracy and very controlled measurements, you can use constructions line to guide you if needed, or you can, like me, eyeball those measurements, and that also works too. If you want, you can also slow down and then create this exercise with a little bit more control and accuracy, and then you can later on freehand if you want to. The next exercise, silhouette matching, is a important exercise if you want to improve your ability to see proportions as well. And it's a very simple exercise. You draw silhouettes of a shape, then you redraw it. Initially, you don't need to get lost in the details. You basically just capturing the contour line of a object as you see it. You can use reference if you want to. I am drawing for imagination. If you wanted to test yourself to see if you can draw a object that you know really well, like an apple, but you really wanted to see if you can recall that shape, you can do this from imagination. My apple here is an interesting shape apple, so it looks like I do need some reference here to remind myself what an apple looks like. However, the goal of this exercise is for you to draw the silhouette of the object, and that's what's really training you. If you want to take to the next level, you can start identify internal shapes that can help you as well. And if your drawings are coming up not as just like the likeness of the object that you are trying to draw, and you just start all over again. So it's a very forgiving practice drill. If it doesn't look right, just redo it. And since I have a apple in my mind that I am drawing right here, I'm not really being too fussy how well that apple looks like. Again, it's from my imagination, but references do work here as well. The next exercise is shape rotation, and you can draw with simple shapes as well. This is your spatial thinking that you're practicing, and choose something very simple. And then once you draw the initial shapes, you can practice rotating them. You can use construction guidelines here at first if you prefer to do that. I am going straight from drawing and rotating them, but if I do get stuck, I will draw some of those construction lines. And then you start rotating them. You can be a little bit more structured about this, really mapping out the rotation angle if you want to. I'm being very intuitive at this demonstration here. But if that helps you, that's definitely a possibility. This exercise really becomes helpful when you want to design different motifs, the same motif, but then rotate it. The motif appear in different directions in a pattern. So this is a very powerful skill to be able to draw anything and different sides of it and rotating that object in different angles. If you, like me, like to draw botanicals and flowers, if you always draw something in top view on the front view, it very quickly becomes very basic pattern. You just start leveling up your pattern design when you are able to draw that same flower but rotating it in different angles. This exercise is what you start with if you have that as a goal to learn and practice. The next exercise is shape orientation. Basically, draw simple shapes again. It can be anything. It can be squares, circles, rectangles, ellipses. I'm keeping here on my basic square. And then you can draw different orientations of that same shape. And this exercise really start make you understand shapes in space. Back in my architecture school days, we have to quickly learn to see a design in 3D. And this exercise is really good for that. You start training, seeing anything and drawing, right? Because you need to train your eye and hand coordination. But then what you're processing is really to see in 3D and be able to communicate that in drawing. This exercise here is very useful for building up this skill. You quickly be able to draw anything in 3D once you start really understand that orientation and how you can capture it. You can be as accurate as you want here, or you can be very loose as I am right now, and that's okay. This is also a important exercise to start training proportions and heights and widths. You can practice capturing that accurately as well and using this exercise as a base. It is also important to know what you like to improve within your drawings. I want to say that if you can't draw in proportion, you cannot rotate a object in the drawing. This is something that you probably could spend some time using these drills and start understanding. And then you can translate and these skills to any object that you like to draw. It doesn't have to be flowers. It can be anything that you like to draw, but you start here with basic shapes and then gradually make more complex shapes or the subject that you like to draw. It is also a basic exercise that a lot of famous illustrators often recommend for you to start and really start building your confidence that you can draw anything in any direction, in any shape and form, and accurately. This is one of my top exercise that I like to redo, and often I like to do this one as a warm-up drill for a drawing session, and it becomes a good exercise for you to practice as well. The next exercise that I chose for you guys is the texture gradients. You can create or imagine any texture or hashing pattern that you want to practice. The ability to see this texture and as it gradually fades, it can be dense to sparse, it can be close lines and then become wider apart. That's how you can interpret this exercise too. This is for you to train how to recognize textures, how they behave across surfaces. You starting here on flat 2D, but this exercise also can be done in 3D objects as well. So surface patterns often rely on a repeating texture. So learning to control them is important on your designs. And you start really identifying the texture patterns that you can observe those textures or imagine them, anything that you want. This is a mark making. You can also practice lighting effects as well, a rendering exercise. And you can use references for these textures and patterns as well. The next exercise is the texture on organic volumes. Is basically one level up of the texture gradients that we spoke earlier. I like to draw a blob shape, and you can add contour lines to give your brain a little bit of guidance of how this blob start taking shape as a 3D object. Then you can apply whatever texture or pattern across the form. This is really start giving you volume awareness and start building your texture sensitivities to how you render a object with that pattern. You start figuring out where your form will be in shadow as well. This is another way to do that. Note as you drawing closer to the curved form, the pattern will become, the motif will become smaller, and then you start seeing your pattern repeat, and you can start seeing how your pattern can mold in a volume. This exercise. The next exercise is the surface pattern mapping. You can draw any basic object and imagine whatever you want to see. Your object here is a little bit of a variation of the previous exercise. On the previous one, I like to do more organic forms. Here you can do anything you want. You draw a repeating pattern across the surface. Your pattern really should follow the curvature of that form. If there is any roundness, you start building that shape. You begin to connect your drawing practice direct to surface pattern design. I like to use this exercise to test any repeating logic. A very basic and common is a toss-up pattern. This one is an example of that, but you can start testing other layouts, and you can also draw in any complex object, and you can freeform this as well. You start putting your pattern in end product. This is gonna help you to see your pattern structure improvements as well. You can prioritize in doing this as you really mapping out your pattern collection. This is a very useful exercise. You will see improvements if you prioritize in doing these drills. I would recommend for you to dedicate time, and you see progress over time. And how long you do this exercise? I have been drawing for 25 years, and I still do this exercise today. I use it as a form of warm-up. They are very good fundamentals, and they definitely pay off over time. This is compound improvement that you see here. These exercises are my cross-training for drawing. It's not really a secret, but it is how I actually improved in my drawing skills. Each drill exercise that I share today, it develops a specific ability to get the most out of it. I would not pick this exercise at random. I would want to know what I need to improve. Is that proportion? Is that observation skills? Is the hand control? Taking an inventory of your drawing as you start today. Today, I really want to practice my line confidence, and then I will do those line exercises and so on. Practice this as often as you can in order to level up and improve. This is how your drawing skills becomes stronger, and stronger drawing skills can lead to stronger motifs and design and patterns. I promise you'll get there. I hope you get to try these drills over here. And as always, do your best today, and I'll see you in the next one.